Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Ajnanatimirandhasya Jnananjanashalakaya Chakshur Unmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Nama Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Presthaya Bhutale Shrimate Bhaktivedanta Swamin iti namine. Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Desha Tarine. Jaya Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shrivashadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna. So, gratitude to Sri Vallabh Prabhu and his team of devotees for inviting me this afternoon for the Gaur Purnima festival, and my pranams to Tapan Mishra Prabhu, the GBC Vice Chairman, and also a dear friend. Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu appeared 500 years ago and gave 3 principles as part of his mission. Ei rupe achandale kirtana sanchare nama prema mala gonthi podila sansare. Lord Chaitanya first of all gave the principle of Harinam Sankirtan or Name Ruchi. Name Ruchi translates as taste in the holy name, which basically means expressing a prayer and a desire to serve. The Hare Krishna Mahamantra is a prayer by the soul to the Supreme to please engage in eternal service. Anandalila maya vigrahaya hema bhadivyas chavi sundaraya. So Lord Chaitanya appeared in a golden complexion, taking on the mood of Srimati Radharani, expressing the ecstasy of the Mahabhava, showing and demonstrating that the soul in its original constitutional position of constantly aspiring to serve Krishna is in the happiest and the most blissful state. It is not enjoyment of material senses and sense objects which will keep us happy, but it is constant engagement in the service and the aspiration to serve which will keep us happy and blissful in our life. I was going for a program in Mumbai, and as I was passing by a huge building, and there was the name of the building written, Sukh Shanti Apartment under repair and maintenance. That's the condition of life in the material world, where we are constantly bombarded with both prosperity and adversity at different times. So the Puranas described Mahavipattau samsare yah smaret madhusudana vipattau tasya sampatti bhavet ityaha shankara. Prosperity and adversity will come of its own accord. But when a person in this world experiences adversity, instead of feeling discouraged, discontented, disoriented, and defeated, if a devotee expresses determination and dedication to take shelter of the Supreme Lord and remember that ultimately all prosperity and adversity is coming by His will only. Maha vipattau samsare yah smaret Madhusudana. When one remembers Lord Madhusudan, then what happens? Vipattau tasya sampatti, that vipatti or that calamity becomes the source of his prosperity. Vipattau tasya sampatti bhaved ityaha Shankara. So Srila Prabhupada was very much inspired by the instruction of Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur Prabhupada in 1922 at Ulta Danga Junction, and he was given the instruction, you please take this message in the English language of Lord Chaitanya all over the world. Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur Prabhupada departed. Srila Prabhupada, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada was a grihastha at that time, Sri Abhay Charan Day, and he had his house in Sitakant Banerjee Lane, and Prabhupada was in the ground floor, and the first floor he had given out in rent. Not exactly rent, but he was allowing the Gaudiya Math devotees to use that. And one of Srila Prabhupada's godbrothers, a disciple of Srila Saraswati Thakur Prabhupada, Dol Govinda Shastri, he was teaching Hari Namamrit Vyakaran to the Gaudiya Math brahmacharis. One day, when Srila Prabhupada was sitting and chanting japa, this is, in the 40s, at that time, Dol Govinda Shastri came out and sat right next to Srila Prabhupada. And then he just made a comment and he said, I just gave a lecture to the Gaudiya Math devotees on the topic Prithvi Tyache Jyot Nagaradi Gram Sarvatra Prachara Hoibe Muranam. Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has given that prediction, in every town and village the name will spread. But I don't know how it will happen. Will it ever happen? So Abhay Babu, Srila Prabhupada, was sitting there, immediately got up, took 2 steps down, turned around and pointing towards Dol Govinda Shastri, he said with firm conviction, if Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has made that prediction, it must happen. And then Srila Prabhupada took 2 steps down further. Again turned around and pointing towards Dol Govinda Shastri, he said, someday a fool who is surrendered at the lotus feet of Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur Prabhupada will make it happen. And Srila Prabhupada took 2 steps down further, and Dol Govinda Shastri started thinking, since he was also Saraswati Thakur disciple, he started thinking, will it be me? Prabhupada turned around and pointing to Dol Govinda Shastri, he said, it will not be you. And when Dol Govinda Shastri heard that, he thought, what does Abhay Babu think he's going to do or what? But nobody could imagine that Srila Prabhupada would take this message all over the world and spread Krishna consciousness across 108 temples during his presence. And today as we speak, ISKCON is spread across 1100 temples in more than 120 countries. So when Srila Prabhupada was in London, one reporter asked him question, Swamiji, why you came to London? And Prabhupada said, the British came and took away from India so many jewels and rubies and emeralds, but they forgot to take the most precious jewel, Bhagavad Gita. I have come to give home delivery. And since then, ISKCON all over the world has distributed more than 550 million, 55 crore Bhagavad Gitas all over the world. So Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu had this mission that the desires within the conditioned soul can only transform when they start aspiring to serve. And that is what Name Ruchi is all about. Yavat ragadayastena yavat karagraham graham yavat mohongri nigado tavat Krishna nate janaha. Brahmaji in his prayers to Krishna is saying that, my dear Lord, I have been given the position of Brahma, but I can see that if someone thinks that I am the controller, I am the enjoyer, then those desires steal away his consciousness, overwhelm his discrimination, and he is unable to understand the difference between what is to be done and what is not to be done. Therefore, I don't aspire to be in the position of Brahma, I aspire to be in the position of a devotee amongst the Brajavasis, serving them, so that I can get an opportunity to serve you. Tadastu me natha sabhuri bhaga bhavetrvanyatra tuvatirascham yena hameko pi bhavat jananam bhutva nisheve tava pada pallavam. Brahmaji says, I just want to be a servant of your devotees. I just want to be in the family of devotees. Yenaham ekopi bhavat jananam. Because in that satsang, my consciousness will transform from the enjoyership mentality to the mentality of being a servant. And that's what Name Ruchi is all about. We aspire not to enjoy, not to exploit, but to serve. Amanistarite tomar iha agaman paramo dayalu tumi patita pavan. When Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is approaching Ramananda Rai, as soon as Sri Ramananda Rai looks at Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he expresses his heart's desire and he says that I am so grateful that you have come here, because only in the association of devotees I get the opportunity to transform my heart and overcome my enjoyership spirit and become a servant. Parama dayalu tumi patita pavan. You are supremely merciful and you are the deliverer of the fallen. And then in the next verse, he defines what is fallen, what is patita. And he says, Vedanishtha madhye ardheka veda mukhe mane veda nishiddha papa kore dharma nahi gone. When one knows what is to be done, what is not to be done, one has understanding, but one does not have control over the choices. One is conscious, but does not have control over the choices, and one succumbs. So, Veda Nishiddha Papa Kore Dharma Nahi Gune. Intuitively, we know this must not be done. But still, because there is weakness of the heart, we actually engage in that activity. And then there is regret. And therefore, we should realize that the association of devotees is that platform where we are actually able to perform our Nama Sankirtan. Without that support, without that kavach, it's practically impossible. And therefore Thakur Narottam Das says, Gaura paho na bhajiya mainu prema ratana dhana helaya harainu. Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's mercy has come as a jewel, and giving up that pearl, prema ratana dhana helaya harainu, I have neglected that. adhana yatana dhana dhanataya genu apana karma doshe apani dubinu. Whom can I blame for my current situation? I have to take responsibility for my actions, my choices. Apana karma doshe apani dubinu. I have made choices because of which I am in this current situation. There is no one to blame. Many years ago, in the late 90s, I was doing a program, and this was in Yerabada jail in Pune. Those days I used to do a lot of jail programs. And I love jail programs. You know why? Because audience is guaranteed. There is a fixed audience without advertisement. So right in front of me there were around 500 prisoners, and I gave the lecture, and after the lecture I said, any questions? So one prisoner raised his hand, that sir, hamara question hai. So I said, pucho, what is your question? And he said, stage pe aake puchunga. I will come on the stage and ask. I got a little worried. I asked the commissioner, kaun hai ye? And commissioner whispered in my ear, 12 murder kiya hai. I got even more worried. I said, मैं 13वां होने वाला हूं क्या? He says, no, don't worry, let him come. So he came on the stage, he asked this question, very philosophical question. I gave the answer, and then I took him aside and I said, at such a young age, how could you commit so many crimes? And he said, when I am overwhelmed with anger, I lose total discrimination. There is a blackout. And all I know is I have already succumbed to the act. That is the power of the anarthas within. And so Krishna says in the Bhagavad Gita, Trividham narakasyedam dwaram nashanam kamam krodham tata lobham tasmat etat trayam tajet. You have to overcome these 3 gates to hell, kama, krodha and lobha. And therefore, Sri Ramananda Rai, he tells Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, I am able to chant and get spiritual benefits because of this Sangha. And I am grateful to you for coming and giving me this Sangha. Mahanta swabhava ei tari te pamor, nija karya nahi tabu, jatara ghar. It is the characteristic of Mahatmas that they will travel just to give that association so that others get the strength to practice the process. And so Thakur Narottam Das says, Satsanga chhadi koino asate vilas, te karne lagilu ye karma bandha phas. And as soon as we give up that association, the ability and the power to practice the rules and regulations is finished. Asate vilas, and one starts getting taste in asat, in matter, sense gratification. Te karane lagilu ye karma bandha phas. And then one gets trapped into the cycle of repeated sense gratification. That taste in nama goes away. And so he says, Bishaya Bishama Bisha Satata Khainu Gaura Kirtana Rase Maganana Hoinu. That Gaura Kirtan Ras disappears because we develop taste in Vishaya. So which is more dangerous, wish, poison, or Vishaya, sense objects? Vishaya is more dangerous and deadly than wish, because wish or poison separates the soul from the body, but Vishay, sense object, separates the soul from Krishna in multiple lifetimes. And therefore, if we want to develop that taste in Nama, it is only through strong satsanga that we can maintain that taste and continue the process. And Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, when he is at Jagannath Puri and he sees the devotees from Bengal entering, he looks at the kirtan and is astonished. And he says, Koti Surya Samasaba Ujjvala Varan Kaha nahi dekhi aichi madhura kirtan. Such effulgent, powerful devotees chanting the holy names. I have never heard such kirtan before. Pratapadra Maharaj says to his guru, Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya. And then he says, Aiche prema, aiche nritya, aiche haridhvani, kaha nahi dekhi, aiche kaha nahi shuni. Pratapadra Maharaj was the king. The best singers would be brought in front of him. So he had heard a lot of melodious singers. He had heard a lot of fantastic musical performances. But the sound vibration emanating from Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and his devotees from Bengal, that kirtan was penetrating his heart, transforming his soul and spinning his head in such a way that he just could not stop himself from expressing what exactly is this power. At that time, Srila Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya explains, Bhattacharya kohe ei madhura vachan, Chaitanyera srishti ei prema sankirtan. This kirtan is not ordinary, because the yuga dharma of chanting is there in every Kali Yuga. In every Kali Yuga, the yuga dharma is given, and the Taraka Brahma Nam is given in every yuga. And therefore, the Taraka Brahma Nam is the one which can actually transform the heart, give liberation also. But the Prem of Vraja is given only once, when Krishna personally appears as Lord Chaitanya. So he says, Chaitanya srishti ei prema sankirtan. So an example of Taraka Brahmanam in the previous yugas is Hare Murare Madhukaitavare Gopala Govinda Mukunda Shaure Yagyesha Narayana Krishna Vishnu Nirashrayam Mam Jagadisha Raksha. This is an example of a Tarak Brahmanam. Now imagine chanting 16 rounds of this. It's so tough. So Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has brought in the simplest of all, but the most potent of all, the Hare Krishna Mahamantra. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. And this Mahamantra, Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya says, not only liberates you, but it gives you prema. Chaitanya srishti ei prema sankirtan. And therefore, he says that Avatari Chaitanya Koila Nama Pracharan Kolikale Dharma Krishna Nama Sankirtan. Lord Chaitanya has come to give this Nama Sankirtan in this age of Kali. And Saito Sumedha Ara Kolihatajan, one who follows this is intelligent, otherwise one will be affected and infected by the influences of Kali Yuga. Therefore, His Divine Grace, Srila A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada, took this most potent Harinama Sankirtan and spread it all over the world, giving it in countries, in civilizations, amongst people who had never ever been exposed to any kind of Hindu thought, philosophy or mantras or culture. And in 11 years, he just transformed the lives of thousands of people globally. Srila Prabhupada therefore gave us this 16 rounds of chanting as a discipline so that we are able to perform a regulated sadhana. Tomar doi hasta bandha nam ganane jalapatra bahirvasa vahibeke mone. When Lord Chaitanya is about to embark to South India, Lord Nityananda Prabhu requests Lord Chaitanya, please don't travel alone. Please take at least one associate, because your both hands are busy. How? With one hand, Lord Chaitanya is chanting the Maha Mantra and is counting each mantra. And with the other hand, he is keeping a count of how many rounds he has completed. So Lord Chaitanya's both hands, even in the height of ecstasy, he is keeping count. So Srila Prabhupada writes a beautiful purport and he says, people ask, why do you chant 16 rounds? Why do you keep a count? He said, Lord Chaitanya was keeping count in the height of ecstasy. So why can't we keep the count? Because that is what is sadhana mean. Dhan means wealth. Sadhana means the process by which we can get that wealth. Prema dhana bina abhyartha daridra jivan dasakori vetan more deha prema dhan. If you are aspiring for that prema dhan, then only through the process of this Nama Sankirtan and aspiration to be a servant, we can get that prema dhana. Some college student was, arguing with me that you people are always chanting 16 rounds and telling us to chant 16 rounds. Where in Gita Krishna says to Arjuna, chant 16 rounds? Show me the shloka. Is there any shloka where Krishna is telling to Arjuna, chant 16 rounds? During battlefield of Kurukshetra, did Krishna ever ask Arjuna, mala ho gaya? Did Arjuna ever tell Krishna on the battlefield, Krishna, रथ को पेड़ के पीछे ले जाओ, 4 माला बाकी है? So from where this 16 round came? I'm already in tension in my office. People are asking me so many targets. My children are putting targets on me. My wife is putting targets everywhere. Target. I'm all dealing with numbers all the time. I come to temple to relax. And here also, mala kitna kiya? Are yaar, allow us to relax. So I said, so what is your proposal? He said, you should just allow us to chant when we are in mood. जब मूड में होऊंगा तब जप करूंगा. मैंने कहा अच्छा मूड कब होता है? कभी नहीं. That is the reason why we keep a certain minimum. Then I told him, your question was, where in Gita Krishna is telling chant 16 rounds? Krishna is telling Arjuna how many rounds you should chant? Satatam kirtayantu. Chant 24 hours. Can you chant that? He is telling Arjuna, Satatam kirtayantu, chant 24 hours. You cannot chant. Therefore, Prabhupada said, chant 16 rounds, at least 2 hours. And this boy looks at me and says, Srila Prabhupada ki jai. So the Name Ruchi is the beginning by which we develop transformation in our aspiration. That's the most important thing, because this is not a yogic process of concentrating just on some kind of an object or a form or just like that, but it is basically aligning our intention with our prayer, with our action, with our dealings, and therefore intensity in sadhana, consistency in seva, and sensitivity in dealing with sevaks is that which will transform our hearts and consciousness. Bahuparishrama chandana remuna anila ananda badila mane dukkhana ganila And so the characteristic of a transformed intention is we do not keep count of how many difficulties I go through in the process of seva. Because business is about keeping account, whereas love is about give, give, give and forgive. And therefore Madhavendra Puri is representing this principle, and Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is declaring that as a gold standard for love. Pragada premera ei swabhava achar nija dukkha vighnadira nokore bichar. In every relationship there is scarcity, impediment, discomfort, unhappiness. Still the relationship continues. When that relationship continues in spite of these challenges, that is called love. And therefore Thakur Bhaktivinoda says, through our sadhana, we elevate our intention from the intention of tamogun, fear, to the intention of rajogun, desire, to the intention of sattvagun, kartavya or duty, and come to the transcendental intention of selfless seva. And when we come to that, then Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu comes to the second principle, that Name Ruchi should lead to Vaishnav Seva. So the quality of our Vaishnav Seva, or our deep desire and intention to serve the Vaishnavas, will very much depend on the quality of how our intention has become purified. And therefore Thakur Haridas is a great example, where Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is glorified as a person who did not empower those with material qualifications, but he empowered those only with spiritual qualifications. Sannyasi Pandita Ganer Korite Garvanash Necha Shudra Dwara Kore Dharmera Prakash. Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu humbled the sannyasi and the scholars. Korite Garvanash. He humbled them. And Neech Shudra Dwara Kore Dharmera Prakash. He empowered those who were not in very high social positions, but who had the right spiritual qualification. Haridasa Dwara Nama Mahatmya Prakash Sanatana Dwara Bhakti Siddhanta Bilas. He empowered Thakur Haridas to lead the holy names. He empowered Srila Sanatana Goswami to spread the Bhakti Siddhanta. And therefore, Vaishnav Seva is the principle where we take the position of being the servant, of being the das. And servant basically means I try to follow the instructions and the will of the Lord and adjust my plans and priorities according to the will of Krishna and Krishna's devotees. And that's the principle of Seva, Vaishnav Seva. I may have my own plans, but I adjust and change those plans to accommodate whatever is the plan of the Supreme. And Lord Chaitanya personally demonstrates the principle of Vaishnav Seva. Kripara samudra dina hine dayamoy, Krishna kripa bina kona sukha nahi hoy. Lord Chaitanya tells Balabhadra Bhattacharya in Jharikhand forest that actually my original plan was to go to Vrindavan via Bengal. But when I reached Bengal and I met Rup and Sanatan, Sanatan Goswami at that time stopped me from going further to Vrindavan. And he said, Durlabha Durgama Sei Nirjana Vrindavan Ekaki Jaiba Kiba Shange Ekajan. My dear Lord, it is not proper for you to go with thousands of people to Vrindavan. Vrindavan is a very secluded place. And therefore, please go back. Now imagine, Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu took sannyas on 14th of January 1510. And he wanted to go to Vrindavan, but Sachi Mata told, don't go to and settle in Vrindavan, go to Puri. So he went to South India tour, came back, and then again he was trying to go to Vrindavan. The devotees kept him till another 2 years. And only in 1514 again he was getting the permission to go, and he reached Bengal. Again he was sent back. Yadyapi swatantra prabhu nahe nivaran bhakta ichha vina prabhu na kore gaman. Although Lord Chaitanya is supremely independent, but he would not cross the Lakshman Rekha of bhakta ichha. If the devotees are not giving blessings, he would not cross that. Only with the blessings he would go. So when he comes back, then he's sent along with Balabhadra Bhattacharya via Jharikhand forest. And it's a very difficult terrain compared to the previous route. But here in the middle of the forest, Lord Chaitanya embraces Balabhadra Bhattacharya and he says, people in this world are bewildered about the secret mantra for happiness. The general fallacy is to think that fulfillment of my plans will give me happiness. No, Balabhadra Bhattacharya, take my own case. My plan was to go to Vrindavan long time back, but I'm still sitting here in Jharikhand forest with you, still not reached. So I had my plans. My plans have been smashed. So when my plans get smashed, should I get disappointed or should I be happy? So I may think, oh, I will get disappointed. He says, no. He says that Krishna kripa vina kona sukha nahi hoye. The secret to happiness is to realize that only Krishna's will has to be accepted and acknowledged and embraced. When we acknowledge and accept Krishna's will and aspire to align my will with Krishna's will, that is the only mantra for happiness. Krishna kripa vina kona sukha nahi hoye. Only Krishna's kripa is the source of all sukha. And therefore, Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu in that mood is giving that secret of how we can be happy in all situations, that prosperity and adversity, fulfillment of our plans and disappointment of our plans will keep happening. But we should see behind that is the smiling face of Krishna and the hand of Krishna. That is the prasad or the mercy which we aspire to see. Srila Prabhupada wanted to make one of his disciples a president in a temple, and he didn't want to become. So he wrote a whole list of reasons why he is not qualified to be the president. And he came in front of Prabhupada and offered obeisances. And Prabhupada said, I have a seva for you. And he was ready. This devotee thought, I know what he is going to tell me. He will tell me to become president. I have all the reasons. I'll present it. I'll escape this seva. And Prabhupada said, I want you to take sannyas. This devotee was bewildered. He says, sannyas? Prabhupada, I just got married. How can I take sannyas? Prabhupada said, so what? You may have been married, but you can always take sannyas. Srila Prabhupada, I've got a small son. Who will take care of him? Prabhupada said, Krishna will take care. You take sannyas. Says, Prabhupada, my senses are not under control. How can I take sannyas? Prabhupada said, you take sannyas over a period of time, your senses will come under control. Don't worry. Come on, take sannyas. And this devotee's head was spinning. And finally he realized he's helpless. He fell at Srila Prabhupada's feet, said, Prabhupada, I can do anything, I cannot take sannyas. Prabhupada said, become president. So many of us may have our own plans, and we may think that yes, when the time comes I can change my plans. But real renunciation is to be detached from my plans, my priorities, my choices, my desires, and be willing to accept Krishna's desire and plans when we are faced with it. Because the only reason Lord Chaitanya took sannyas was to spend his entire life in Vrindavan. That was the original only reason. But when Sachi Mata told him, you cannot stay there, you better stay close to me, then he decided to stay in Jagannath Puri. That was a total change from his original plan. And after that, finally now he has entered Vrindavan with Balabhadra Bhattacharya. He is in great ecstasy. And Lord Chaitanya's ecstasy is growing. And then Balabhadra Bhattacharya is in great disappointment and difficulty and disturbance. Why? Because so many devotees are coming forward and inviting Lord Chaitanya for prasadam. And they are coming and pestering Balabhadra Bhattacharya and criticizing Balabhadra Bhattacharya. You are not allowing Lord Chaitanya to come to our house. And he is bewildered. And so finally, Balabhadra Bhattacharya, in his total state of distress, approaches Lord Chaitanya and he says, my dear Lord, I can't handle this anymore. Please relieve me from this. Lord Chaitanya says, what happened? And he says, Udvigna hoila prana sahite na pari. My mind is in total distress. Because people are coming and criticizing me, saying that I am not allowing you to come to their house. Lord Chaitanya says, but, I am available, I can go. He says, every day in the morning you leave Akrur Ghat and go to Imlital, keep chanting. How do I get you? And how do I organize for you to take lunch at all these places? Thousands of people are coming. And then Balabhadra Bhattacharya says to Lord Chaitanya, प्रतिदिन लोक ऐसे तोमारे न पाए लोक मोर माथा खाए. Every day people are coming and they are eating my head. Let us leave Vrindavan. So now just imagine, Lord Chaitanya's ecstasy is growing in Vrindavan. And Balabhadra Bhattacharya is saying, I don't want to stay in Vrindavan. The easiest thing for Lord Chaitanya would have been to tell him, you leave, I'll continue. It was never my idea to bring you in the first place. But Lord Chaitanya immediately says, Yadyapi Vrindavana tyage nahi prabhurman bhakta ichha purite kohe madhur vachan. Although he did not want to leave Vrindavan, to fulfill his devotee's desire, he decided to leave Vrindavan and go to Prayagraj with Balabhadra Bhattacharya, showing the highest example of Vaishnav Seva. So when there is Name Ruchi and Vaishnav Seva, then there can be Jive Daya. Jive Daya means we distribute the holy names, we distribute the Shuddha Prema to one and all, which was Lord Chaitanya's original mission, to flood the world with Krishna Prema. And therefore, Kaviraj Goswami says, Eirupeya Chandale Kirtana Sanchare Nama Prema Mala Ganthi Podela Sansare. Lord Chaitanya flooded the entire universe with this Prema, wanting each and every soul to experience this Prema, and thus transformed everybody's life. So when we celebrate our festivals in temple at Chopati, many times there is a long line of devotees for prasadam. And in that long line, sometimes devotees are in anxiety. Will we get prasad or not? But more anxiety is amongst those who are serving the prasad. Because the one who's serving thinks that I will get only after everyone gets. So then they start serving smaller quantity to try to save for themselves. And people come and complain to me, Are, sabji chutney ki tarah de rahe. Samjhao inko. So we make a separate plate for the server. When the server gets his own plate, near to him, which he can keep seeing. While serving, whenever he gets doubt, he looks at his own plate and then gets the conviction, सेवा करता रहूंगा, भविष्य उज्जवल है. And then he starts serving double and triple. And then people tell him, अरे अपने लिए भी बचाओ भाई. And he says, वैष्णव सेवा ही तो धर्म है. क्या बात है? From where this conviction has come? Seeing the future. Therefore, there may be challenges, difficulties, various kinds of constraints in our life which will come now and then. Kali Yuga is a difficult yuga. 8 billion population, 800 crore, hardly 40 crore in the world is vegetarian also. So living in a very, very complex and a world surcharged with Rajogun and Tamogun, practicing Krishna consciousness is challenging. But with Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's grace, Name Ruchi, Vaishnav Seva and Jive Daya, there is hope. We may be helpless, we should never become hopeless, because the Vaishnav Satsang always exists to give us what each one of us needs the most. What we need the most is not money, not property, not prestige, not position, not social acclaim, but what we need the most is hope. And when we get that hope, anything can be done by anyone, anywhere, in any kind of situation, which has been proved by His Divine Grace, Srila Prabhupada, the way He established ISKCON. Who could have imagined that in the middle of Middle East, here in Dubai, there would be such a robust congregation of devotees, such amazing satsang program, a school hall converted into a satsang, multiple sets of deities coming here, Gaur Nitai glancing and gracing upon each one of us, and one of the best kirtan programs which is practiced anywhere in the whole of ISKCON, all of that happening here in Dubai, renamed as Damodar Desh. So my heartfelt gratitude to all the leaders across the GCC and here in Dubai, especially to Sri Vallabh Prabhu and his family, through their multi-generational Krishna conscious commitment, inspired by His Holiness Jayapataka Swami Maharaj and many other leaders. They have held Lord Chaitanya's mission strong and growing year on year. Thank you all very, very much. Hare Krishna.
Hare.
Thank you.
Hare
Thank you.
Krishna.
Thank you, Tapan Mishra Prabhu also.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu. Thank you so much for inspiring us with your kind word. Prabhu, now I'm getting the hang of this word, Lava Matra Sadhu Sangha. How much ever time we are spending with you, it looks like Lava Matra only. We would definitely want more, and we hope that we can get more of your association, more of your time. Prabhu, with your blessings, with Sri Vallabh Prabhu's blessings, if it's fine, we can have few question answers. Quick question answers. Quick 5 minutes. We have 5 minutes. तो जिन को प्रश्न है कृपया करके अपना हाथ उठाइए मैं आपके पास आऊंगा माइक के साथ प्लीज रेज योर हैंड दोज हु हैव क्वेश्चन वी डोंट हैव मच क्वेश्चन सो आई विल जस्ट कम फ्यू वन मिनट प्रभु ओनली 3 क्वेश्चंस आई विल स्टार्ट फ्रॉम देयर प्रभु
यहाँ पे एक है वन हैंड इज हियर
कौन थे प्रभु
Hare Krishna. I just want to check one thing. How do we practically align ourselves with God's will?
How do we line ourselves with God's will?
Yeah. How do we practically do that on day-to-day basis?
Yes.
I mean, eventually we don't have choices. We have to accept what is given to us. But how do we practically align ourselves?
Yes. So as you know that nowadays yoga is becoming popular. So you must have seen many yoga teachers and yoga asanas. So when you sign up for a yoga course, and if you have never done yoga before, you find it difficult even to bend, what to speak of touching the feet, hand to the feet and all that. So day one is you cannot bend at all. Gradually you keep doing that and then you start bending and then you are able to make your body flexible. So when we talk about aligning our will, it is making our ego flexible, our desire flexible. So just like there is yoga teacher who helps your body become flexible, there are spiritual guides, the Vaishnava guides here in the satsang, who will help you through the process to make your desires and will more flexible. So that's what, the satsang is all about. Like when I was doing a puja in Chopati temple many years ago, some young boy just walked in and he gave me a bag and he said, offer this to the deities. And I looked inside, it was a bunch of boxing gloves. I said, what is this? I can't offer this. He said, I attended your Gita course and they said, whatever new you get, you should offer to Krishna. So I'm a boxer, so I'm offering. You are a pujari, don't stop me, just do it. So I offered and I was praying to Gopinath, I don't know what to pray. Please accept this. And then I returned back to him, I said, now I have offered, what will you do with these gloves? He said, jisko bhi marunga Gopinath ka prasad milega. So that was his understanding. But I said, one of the sessions of the Gita course is, what is the purpose of human life? How to spend and invest your time. So therefore, the satsanga trains you and teaches you how to transform your life by managing your 9 p.m. to 9 a.m. Your school and university and your career prepares you from 9 a.m. to 9 p.m. We prepare you from 9 p.m. to 9 a.m., which is sleep on time, get up on time, do various spiritual practices in the morning, including chanting, studying the books, sharing it with your family, worshipping some deities at home, offering the food, and then you start your day. So that's what these devotees will train you. And as you can see, you're a new person and you may think that to be a sincere practitioner, you have to be like me, a brahmachari without family and all that. But no, practically everybody here is grihasthas, and our leader here, Sri Gauranga Prabhu, is a grihastha with 3 sons, 2 of them already married. So you can be normal. I was trying to give prasad to one young boy. He said, nahi lunga, nahi lunga. I said, kyun? Bola, mujhe lagta hai mera hairstyle aapke jaisa ho jayega. So you don't have to worry. So here they train not how to build a temple, but how to transform your home into a temple. That's what we are training. Okay? Yes. Is Mataji here? She had the hand up first. So this is the last question? Or one more? Okay. 3. Okay.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna. Dandavad.
Okay. So, Prabhuji, my question is, usually when we travel to any...
I cannot hear.
Okay. So, whenever we are traveling to any dham, so what should be our consciousness? Because whenever we are traveling to Vrindavan, we see from our material eyes, we see that, Brijvasis, sometimes they are, few Brijvasis, they are very good to us, and sometimes they are bit rude. It sounds a bit rude to us. So also in Chaitanya Charitamrita, we hear that, we have read that when Mahaprabhu was sending Jagannathan Pandit to Vrindavan, so at that time he told him to be under the guidance of Sanatan Goswami.
Right.
So at that time, he was so elevated, and still he was about to make mistakes. Like, Mahaprabhu was very much conscious about him. So when we are traveling to Vrindavan, what should be our consciousness so that we commit least offense and least to no offense, and we gain a lot of advancement in spiritual life?
Thank you. So it's a very nice question. And Lord Chaitanya himself, he said, Anyera hridayaman mora mana brindavan mane vane eka kori jani He says, my mind is non-different from Vrindavan, because that was his meditation. So, Vrindavan is a place where practically every soul is constantly hankering to serve Krishna and no other conscious thought. Only how can I serve Krishna? How can I please Krishna? That's the only desire in Vrindavan. So we should remember that Krishna appears in the lives of those who emulate the consciousness of the Brajavasis. Right? So, the Brajavasis' consciousness is, whatever is Krishna's will, I accept. Nirupadhi karunena Sri Sachinandanena kapata satopi tat krute napritosmi iti khalu mama yoga yogyata mam ahrihnan nija nikata nivasa dehi govardhanastvam. Raghunath Das Goswami says that the Govardhan Giriraj is the highest example of seva. Haridasa Varya. Anything comes, he is willing to accept. Pain upon his head from the Indra's thunderbolts, but to give protection to the Brajavasis. Nirupadi Karunena Sri Sachinandanena. So when Lord Chaitanya gave Giriraj Shila to Raghunath Das Goswami, Tvai kapati shatopi tat priyena arpitosmi. Generally when we give Shila, we say, I am giving you this Shila. But Raghunath Das Goswami says, Lord Chaitanya has given me and offered me at the feet of Giriraj. Although the Giriraj Shila is only this much, but it is Govardhan. So he's saying, I have been offered mercifully by Lord Chaitanya at the feet of the greatest Sevak, Giriraj. Although I am kapat and shat. Iti khalu mama yoga yogyata mam agrihnan. Without considering my qualification and disqualification. So therefore, when you go to the hospital, you get the power. The hospital has the power to heal. Library has the power to give you knowledge. Restaurant has the power to eliminate your hunger. So Vrindavan is the place which has the power to give you seva. You get the power to serve from Vrindavan. Just like in the bank, you have an ATM. You go to the ATM, you get money from the ATM. When you put the right password, you get your money from the ATM. Like that, when you go to Vrindavan, the prayer you do in front of every deity, every acharya, every samadhi, every tree, Yamunaji, Govardhan, that prayer is that unlocking through the password. And when you make the right prayer in the right mood and the right consciousness, then the power to serve is unleashed. And you come out of Vrindavan wealthier with more power to serve. So Vrindavan is only relevant for those who want to increase the bank balance of their power to serve selflessly. Willingness to go through pain to give pleasure to Krishna. As the example of Devaki and Vasudeva, tatascha shauri bhagavat prachodita sutam samadaya cha sutika grihat. Vasudeva is glorified as shauri, brave. Why? He lost 6 sons. So traumatic. But he was willing to go through that pain to get the opportunity to serve Krishna. So that's the power to serve. Means the power to absorb unlimited pain. So I was giving a lecture in IIT Bombay many years ago, Janmashtami Day, and I said, Akashvani said, hey Kamsa, 8th son of Devaki will be the cause of your death. He will kill you, that 8th son. And therefore, he put Vasudeva and Devaki in jail. So after the lecture, one IIT student came up to me. He said, "Are, when Kansa heard that Akashvani, he could have put Vasudeva in one jail, Devaki in another jail. एक भी बच्चा पैदा नहीं होता." कंसा को इतना आइडिया भी चमका नहीं किया. I said, क्या करें, कंस IIT नहीं गया था. But many times in the celebration of Janmashtami, we do not meditate on the pain which Vasudeva and Devaki went through so that they could get Krishna. And it was Vasudeva, he was keeping count of how many days it is since Krishna is born. And he sends Gargacharya for the name giving ceremony. Garga Purohito Rajan Yadunam Mahantapa. He sends him. So although he does not have Krishna with him, is with Nanda Maharaj, but seva is going on in presence or in separation. So that is Vrindavan, the place which gives us the power to serve. And seva is totally opposite to shanti. So when you are signing up for seva, you are signing up for ashanti. So only when you realize that, then you should understand that I am going to be in the position like the Brajavasis, because before Krishna appeared in Gokul, Vrindavan was very shanti. After Krishna appeared, the fireworks began. So you should know that what we are signing up is quite different than what we may have imagined. That is Vrindavan. Okay? Thank you. Hare Krishna. Srila Prabhupada ki Jai Go Premanande.
Hari Hari Bol.